So I often encounter this illustration with diverse interpretations from many people. Everyone sees it a bit differently, that it is the old self looking at the young self wounded, that it is the relationship between pain and the diverse experiences of pain. Now, as a person who lived through exhaustive experiences, I am an exhausted person, but I affirm it and live on, and pained by various mishaps, both psychological, physical, and so on, so on. I teach English to children and youth sometimes. And what I found very important is that if you cannot cope anymore with your own pain, if you are really at the brink of your exhaustion, the best healing method is to contribute as a mentor. If you have the experience, if you have the exhaustion, if you have the wisdom, become a mentor. Teach someone. Volunteer. And this is how I see this illustration, that this is this old dwarf that is wounded by multiple arrows, and nobody pulled out those arrows. They still bleed, their wounds, their scars, and so on. This is the young wolf with just a single arrow, and he commits to the young wolf because there is a path to walk, and the young wolf might benefit from the advices of the old wolf if decides to listen. So that is about caring for our youth, in order for them to understand, wisen up, sober up, in order for them to, yes, be wounded, but be healed, know how to heal, give them the tools. And there is another infographic kicking in here with the goats. So this is the maturity thing. I'm a mixture of both, an immature bastard and a very mature one. So, we always have to be right about everything, the stubborn goat. We don't admit responsibility for our mistakes or opinions or anything else. We take out problems on others and relegate them all the time to someone else. Taking everything personally, someone offends us, someone offends our intelligence, how dare they? We know everything, we are well read, and of course we must know everything. So we are entitled to everything. Why? Because we are entitled, just like that. We are wanting to be validated as, Instagram celebrities. Look at my car, look at my wear, clothing, whatever. Look. And we don't see any flaws in ourselves, right? We are perfect, as we are. Let's embrace ourselves, love ourselves in a narcissistic fashion. We tell people what to do, and someone will ask, and just to confirm that you're right? Yeah. So you focus on the differences. The discerning mind is something different, and you look at one difference, us and them, and splinter the world into chambers of never-ending fights. We blame the world for our problems. I sometimes do when I incur damage, but I wish I should dissolve it. Why should I trouble myself with it, right? Assumes the worst of everyone. Well, look towards the positive. There's every wisdom you can find in some fool, even. That's why I always said, take the wisdom from me and discard the bullshit. Because there is plenty of bullshit in me, and I try to interpret things to the best of my abilities. You scorn the efforts of others. That's the worst thing to do. Because when somebody tries, he commits to something. You are afraid of everything. You might be killed every day in the streets, just like that, out there. Why are you afraid to claim, to commit? So, by this little circle of immaturity, you end up as an old prick that is bitter, frustrated, and doesn't know what went wrong, but he was always right, and died, won some battles, but he's a grumpy old fellow. He's bitter, he's sad, he didn't age well. And not to be too audacious, but older people should be respected. But those who were young idiots and been idiots, fools throughout their lives, don't end up well. So, we climb like the little goats. Whenever somebody says no and we find something wise and right and commit, we do it anyway. We scorn the indolence of those who say naysayers because we wouldn't achieve anything if we would listen to them. We are obsessed with questioning. Why? Why this? Why that? Why that? Why that? Reverse flow. If this happens, why? If that happens, why? And it's annoying to some, questioning indefinitely, but sometimes we have wisdom to question wisely and get the right answers from people that are capable of providing us with the right answers. So, we are built for climbing, either in our disciplines in life and career, or in expanding our wisdom, understanding, experience, knowledge, to share it primarily with others. We don't do it for ourselves to hold knowledge, wisdom, or experience and be also wise and knowledgeable, right? This is a very important point, because as you mature with your wisdom and knowledge, you want to share it with others. That is one of the reasons why in my mass lectures I commit my experience and the expertise that I gained in magic and the occult to share it with the rest. So, we want to help others if they want to be helped. If they scorn our help and want to cut off our arm, we let them go. We don't want them in our company. We focus on having friends, the spirits, the birds, the trees, some people, some committed friends. I have 10 best friends, male and female, at the age of almost 40. And I find it a great achievement. Very, very close friends, not just acquaintances, friends that I take care of, commit my time. And they do the same thing for me, which is wonderful. Honest friendship, comitas, Roman virtue. We respect others' intelligence, various types of intelligence. As the obnoxious fools that try to take the filthy, arrogant shoes and infest our life with them. Then we turn out of balance and we may become angry, although that's a vice. So, obsessed with facts and cross-checking, validating, triangulating. I fail at that sometimes because I deal with disciplines that demand interpretation and hermeneutics. However, I prefer scientific methods, science, strict social sciences first before I reach for interpretations of the occult business, and metaphysics is a very slippery territory if you do not have plenty of experience, years-long experience of it. And you still know nothing because you're an interpreter, even in metaphysics and the divine things. You are interpreting a little bit of a shard that you want to enlighten, illuminate, and show to others. We may understand it, some part of it, but I will never have an understanding of a god or a goddess or a demon or a forest of the dead, right? I won't, because I don't look from their perspective. I have this shard that they reflect of the knowledge and intelligibility, for example, in Autophanias of Gods. We are grateful for everything. Grateful. The gods of little things. You can be grateful that the leaf has fallen, that the bird sang or was flying by, and you notice those little beautiful things that are tremendously joyful. We assume as little as possible, because if we assume too much about things we don't know about other people, about things they think, about whatever, we might get paranoid, or we are just losing time, right? So when it comes to people in general, if you are stereotypizing or generalizing them, I sometimes do, but when I meet new people, I try to assume as little as possible and to be open, kind, and courteous in order to understand them from their perspective. So, blame self for the world. This is because you failed. We failed to commit in order to change the world, in order to make others better. And that may end up in frustration and great sometimes suffering, pain, torment, anger at the world and others. But still, it's you that commit. And even if 1 million of idiots ruin the world, and you're standing on your own, you don't blame them, but you blame yourself that you didn't manage to change them, that you didn't manage to inspire them to do something better. If you have the clock set on the right hour and everyone has a different hour on the city clock, which is wrong, you don't quarrel with them, but try to set the city clock at the right hour, first convincing them that that's the wrong hour that they're looking towards. So, you listen to people. It's such a rare skill. You know your limits as a mortal. You always know your limits, because otherwise you will inflated megalomaniac, or at best you think you are limitless in various disciplines of knowledge, politics, society, science, and so on. You're not limitless. We are not. We are limited by our mortal bodies, mortal minds, cocoons. And yes, you may be a demigod, but you're still limited. Limited. You can throw fireballs, unfortunately. So, you aren't afraid to fall, because you know how to climb, you know how to fall, you know how to lose. And you can lose all your life as long as you have the perspective of committing. Commitment and responsibility for the world is much more important than the winning-losing script, honestly. Because you can win by trampling on everyone's backs. You can win by destroying your enemies in arguments and so on. But what did you contribute? Absolutely nothing. Nothing. So, after this fulfilling goat Baphometal enterprise, you may die happily with the rose put on your grave, and you die a fulfilled man. Am I a fulfilled man? I already am, but I relapse sometimes into this crap. And I would prefer to stick to this team. So, goatees, are also these wounded wolves that want to help and commit and mentor the young wolves to eventually become these goats. Thank you.